We had some really good discussion, and all over the country there is a discussion now about the America's Cup. Though many people I talked to didn't see a single leg of the latest competition in Barcelona, which of course was a lay-down misère for Emirates Team New Zealand. And the debate really now is, can we get this thing back home, and do we want to get it back home? So where to now for the America's Cup, which is New Zealand's Cup? We're joined from Spain by a well-known commentator, I think forever associated with the America's Cup and racing expert, sailing expert, Peter Lester. Peter, how are you, mate?
How are you? Yeah, interesting discussion.
Look, I tweeted, I've got to say, Sunday morning, the curious feeling I had to learn that we had retained the America's Cup, but the odd lack of emotion that I felt. And I've talked to people of my age, and we go back to the mid to late 80s, the Plastic Fantastic, and because I guess we're in our early 20s, it was a significant part of our emotional muscle memory, cheering on New Zealanders competing for the America's Cup. And then at the age of 60, I find myself underwhelmed. Do you think this is an uncommon feeling amongst New Zealanders?
Look, I don't know about New Zealanders, but for me to come to Europe and to defend or win the America's Cup, I don't know if you get how significant that is for New Zealand sailing. It's not easy over here. You know, you're in Europe, you're in Spain, and what the guys achieved in the weekend. I just hope people appreciate how big a hill I've climbed. I think it was really significant. And look, don't lose sight of the fact that for Team New Zealand, they don't want to set the team up to fail, and it's a game that if you don't have enough resources and you don't have the right people, and if you run out of time, you will fail. You're up against some of the the best and some of the richest people in the world. You look at Ernesto Bertarelli, Larry Ellison in the past, Patricio Bertelli. I mean, they're not small players. And if you're under-resourced, you're not going to get there. In fact, you're going to be made look really average.
Yeah.
So when I saw the race on Saturday here, and I was the closest to the action to be out on the course, it's hard for me to describe how, as an America's Cup lover, how significant that was. In some ways, more significant even when it was won in Bermuda in 2017. I think what the team have achieved here, I just hope people understand how difficult it is to win in Europe.
Yeah. Look, I was trying to make a comparison, but it's not big enough. It's like winning Le Mans 3 times. Against...
it's massive.
And it is, but it's bigger than that. And I think we appreciate that, and we look at the technology, and we look at what it says, and it is a remarkable achievement. I guess the feeling is, Peter, that a lot of New Zealanders are saying it's about place. It's about bringing the cup home. But we don't, because it's not home and it's not being competed for here. I mean, I can remember one of the clearest memories of my life being invited on board the team tender with Dean Barker when they rode back for the press conference after we defended up in Auckland. That was one of the highlights of my life, and I'm not even a sports reporter. But we don't have that magic anymore. And the question is, Peter, how much effort is the team and how much effort as a country are we prepared to put into having the cup back here, or are those days over?
Oh, look, I'm not sure. I'm not political enough. I don't, and to be honest, I just love the cup for what it is. It's the oldest trophy in competitive sport.
Yeah.
All I know is to be at the level that is required to win it, you've got to be set up properly. You don't want to be set up to fail. And look, there was no one more gutted than when the decision was made to send it offshore, the last rotation. Yeah. But I think what the board of Emirates Team New Zealand and Grant Dalton have done, they gave the team the opportunity to win. And unfortunately, because of what happened in New Zealand through COVID, and that was devastating, as we don't need to go there. But I think it's just significant, the people that you're competing against. Jim Radcliffe, one of the...
But look, let's boil it down, Peter. Is there a desire from Grant? And God, huge respect to that guy. He's one tough, nuggety, decent New Zealander and epitomises some of the greatest things about being New Zealander I know. Is there a desire amongst the management of Team New Zealand and the people who make decisions to find a way to get the competition back to New Zealand or not?
I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. We're still in the euphoria of what happened 2 days ago. And I guess some of the meetings that are going on up here in Spain, maybe back in New Zealand right now, will to determine that. But when you look ahead for the next America's Cup, the 38, again, I think the board at Emirates Team New Zealand and Grant, they will not set the team up to fail. They will want to win it 4 times. And hats off to them.
Well, there's nothing like home court advantage, Peter.
Yeah, but you've got to have enough behind you to have home court advantage. If you go out there and your boat's slow, it's the old cliche: the fastest boat will win the America's Cup. So to have a boat that we saw here, Tahoru, it was the fastest boat on the water. It probably didn't have the edge that we saw in Auckland, but it had a speed advantage over Ineos. Now, why? Because they worked their butts off for 4 years to make sure that race 1 of the America's Cup, they were quick. Yeah. And they were quick. Yeah. And we saw that. So I just look, I'm in two minds. I'm where you are, we live down in us and we overachieve in sport, brilliant. But this game is brutal, and there's a hell of a lot of people in this part of the world that would love to get it off Emirates Team New Zealand, out of New Zealand. Yeah. And Ineos, with a few quirks and what they did against Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They tipped them up. Yeah. I just hope people back in New Zealand realise what's been achieved here.
Yeah, and I guess too. Look, the other thing I want to say about Grant, when the decision was made to go offshore, he said to corporate New Zealand, "There's not enough money here. You either front up or I take it." And I kind of respect him for delivering on his threat. He wasn't messing around, and I think corporate New Zealand and those who might want to back it coming back here, they now know that they'll have to talk serious money if we're going to get it back here. I think
about golf, you're not going to get lost in cliches and jargon. He will tell you. He will. There's no mucking around. He's a straight shooter.